They know who we are. They know who we are. The chosen of Yah.
Check out outside.
The chosen of Yah.
The Mr. Singer.
The chosen of Yah.
First off, I would like to give all praise and honor to Yah and his only begotten Son, Adonai, which the world ignorantly called Jesus. All right, because of their sins, he died. Not saying you can just do whatever you want and you're still gonna be saved. No. He died because of Israel's sin. He was put to death. All right. This class is dealing with the ungratefulness of Israel.
Bottle in the smoke, fire extinguish those who oppose the ones who wear the skull.
The ignorance, all right, and the ungratefulness. Israel is ungrateful, almost like a wicked, treacherous woman that departed from her husband. All right, we got to understand that. That's why we go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. Israel is compared to a woman. It reads, "O ye children, I have likened the daughters of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." All right. So Israel is compared to a woman, man. We know that Israel is the bride, and the word is the bridegroom. That's what we're supposed to be married to. But through our ungratefulness and through trying to be righteous in our own eyes, we neglect the ones that the Lord put over us, truly put over us, according to the word, to go after our lovers. All right? To go after other gods and to serve them, man, which was one of the commandments not to do.
Cause you don't keep his laws. Cause you a wolf of fox dressed in sheep clothes with a robe down to the foot, serving other gods like Nimrod, whose father's Cush.
We're going to deal with 1 Samuel chapter 8, understanding that Samuel's sons are evil leaders. So Israel asked for a king. All right. So because these sons were evil leaders, right? They were Levites, and so was Samuel. All right. They thought that gave them a reason to change the Most High law. Okay. The Most High knew that this would happen. He said that's why if you have a king, he shall not multiply, possessions and such, and etc. But the Most High never gave any man license to sin. All right. So just because these men, these leaders that was over them was sinning, all right, and they was unjust, didn't give them a reason to strip these men from their inheritance, which was God. That was the position that the Most High commanded Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse, let's get 1. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 1 here. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 1. These are the laws about the rightful dues for the priests and the Levites. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribes of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offering of the Lord, made by fire, and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he have said unto them. All right. So this was their rightful position. God gave it to them, not man. God gave the Levites this position. But watch what the children of Israel do here in 8. All right. If you're not familiar with this story, we have this story up on our channel, House of the Iron Furnace. You might want to go back, listen to it, and then come back to this lesson so you can have a clear understanding of where I'm going with this. All right. So what happens here, we're going to kind of briefly jump through it because this lesson is already online. So we're going to kind of jump around. All right. It reads here. This is 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Why did he do this? Why did he make his sons judges over Israel? Because it was commanded. It was in the commandments. All right. We just read those in Deuteronomy chapter 18. All right. Verse 2. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes, and perverted judgment.
Cast a stone from a burning bush. Valley of dry bones, cell nuclear, small ribosomes is ludicrous.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk in thy ways, and not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. But the thing displeased Samuel. Did it displease Samuel because his children were wicked and no parent really liked you talking about their child and calling their child wicked? No, because Samuel was a God-fearing man. All right, we talking about when he was a child. He had to go and reveal to his elder, who was Eli. All right, he had to tell him what God told him. This man didn't pervert judgment. He didn't have respect of persons, so he didn't have respect of persons for his sons. So that is not the reason why he was displeased. The reason he was displeased because this was their inheritance. All right, if you take this from them, they won't have nothing. All right, so Israel, because how they felt about the leaders that God put over them, they felt like that gave them a reason to change the priesthood, basically. We're about to change the order of things because of these Levites. So they went unto Samuel and said, Samuel, hey, we don't like how your children rocking. All right, we don't like how they're conducting or carrying themselves, their behaviors. We don't like how they are forward in this walk. We don't like it. Let's get a precept on that. We're gonna get 1 Peter 2 and verse 18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. So also to the froward, man. So yes, they was being forward. Let's get the definition of froward. All right. Difficult to deal with. See? Contrary. All right. They felt like, hey man, this ain't the way a priest should be carrying themselves. This isn't the way someone should be ruling over us. Okay? They felt as though it was wrong. And if they were doing this, so they were wrong. All right? But at the same time, Peter said, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, not only to Samuel. All right, they didn't have anything negative to say about Samuel except for he was old. All right, you're old. They want to find a reason. All right, to do away with the priesthood, man. All right, to sweep it to the side. All right, strip them of their inheritance, which was gave to them, huh? All right. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. See that? So they should not have left. They should not wanted and desired a king when the Most High gave them Levites for judges. All right, because they thought, well, because they're contrary to the scripture, they give us the right to walk contrary to the Lord. They thought that they could return evil for evil. All right, when the Most High, Sirach chapter 15 and verse 20 reads that God give no man a license to sin. All right, so you don't get permission to sin because your rulers or your heads are going contrary. All right, this is something that a lot of people that's just waking up and coming into this truth don't understand, man. All right, you do not get permission to walk contrary just because you may feel that your elder is walking contrary. All right, also into the couples, you got wives and husbands. They think because my wife is walking contrary, I can walk contrary, and she feels that because he ain't being a provider and being the one, then I can walk contrary to him. He's not being a God-fearing man. Then I'm entitled to go and get me a king, a baller. Understand what a king is. This is somebody with security, somebody with funds, someone with financial benefits, man. Someone that can take care of you, offer you security, put hedges around you, man. All right? Get you whatever you need and your families. All right, so they looking at the financial thing. You got some sisters out here looking, oh, if you ain't a king, you can't do this, or you ain't a king, you can't do that. All right, no, if you ain't a God-fearing man, you can't do that, or you can't do this. A lot of that issue rise up with the topic polygamy. All right, when women say this. All right, but the thing is, if you're not a God-fearing man, not a rich man, all right, but a God-fearing man, get it right. Okay? You can't do this or do that. All right? So if they see you or he, she, whatever, see their ruler going contrary, they say, well, I don't have to follow him. I'm going to go and get me another ruler to rule over us. All right? But listen what the scriptures say. Verse 19. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. See? You must hang in there. You must endure to the end. All right? Even though you know they doing wrong, you got to endure to the end. He that endured to the end shall be saved, man. Verse 20. For what glory is it if when we be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? See? Let me read that again. For what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin. See, he wasn't messing up, he wasn't doing wrong. All right? Neither was guile found in his mouth, who when he was reviled not again. He didn't return evil back for evil, man. He didn't walk contrary because they walked contrary. Because they reviled him, he didn't revile them back. Okay? But you saying you're Christ-like. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. See? See? But he still committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. All right? Someone that's a ruler, someone that's a teacher, John the Baptist. In the law, it's nowhere in there baptizing someone in water. This was symbolic. This was for a memorial. This is something that he was just basically doing it because it represented cleansing yourself through the word, which is the water. Christ did it anyway. When John the Baptist was thrown in prison, he went out and started preaching the word and the gospel. He knew it was his time to step up, all right? But guess what? He still committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. And because John the Baptist was a Levite, he submitted himself unto John the Baptist and to his time, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sin, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed. For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls. How How did you return? Through what? The Father chastising in you, teaching you lessons. All right? That's what made you come back. All right? But let's see if Israel did the same thing. We're going to go back, jump over here to 1 Samuel chapter 8, and we're going to pick back up at we're going to start at 3 again. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. See? See? Give us a king. All right, watch this. Watch this. They want to be like the other nations on the low. That's really what it is. A lot of times we get tired and want to serve the Lord, and we get impatient in this thing, so we try to find excuses, because really we want to go and be like the heathens, man. We see what they doing and we want to do that. Some of y'all see them have their holidays and they out there smiling and having fun, and y'all want to go out there and do that. All right, so you make excuses to do that thing, man. All right, watch this. But, verse 6, but the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. So what did he do? Did he revile them? Did he cuss them out? Did he take one of them by the throat and choke them till he didn't have any more air in his lungs? Did he blacken one's eye? All right, no. He went and he prayed and he inquired of the Lord, man. All right, and let's see what the Lord said. Verse 7, and the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. That's all. That's all. He said, listen, hearken to them, man. Listen, we ain't finna be out here fighting with these brothers that want to do their own thing, do their own will, man. Let them do what they do, man. All right? They want to break the commandments. Let them go and break the commandments. You know, a wife is not in bondage to no man, and the man ain't in bondage to the wife. All right? Paul even said that. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 10. And unto the married I command, ye not, I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. See? The wife is Israel. The husband is the Lord. The wife is the bride. The Lord is the bridegroom. All right? John the Baptist even said this. Okay? But, this 15, verse 15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God have called us to peace. See? They're not in bondage. You can't force them. Oh, you got to do this. You got to come to class. You got to. No. Let them go. Hearken into the voice. You can warn them like what Samuel's about to do, but we ain't finna put hands on people and stoop down to their level. All right? The Most High gave them free will, like they say. All right? The will is what? Life, or you can choose death. Death, or you can choose life. Jeremiah 8 and 3. We're not finna do that. We're going to read that again. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. That's all. That's all. They're not going to they don't want God, the Lord reigning over them. All right. So let me show you what the Lord going to do to Israel. All right. He about to warn them, man. Just like Christ did. All right. We're going to get Luke chapter 19, verse 27. All right. It reads, But those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring here and slay them before me, man. All right. What is he telling Samuel to do here? All right. He's telling, see, brothers thinking that's talking about, oh, go get the 40. Bow, shoot on them. They don't want us to run. No, he's saying, listen, give them the word, man. Warn them. All right? I'm finna handle this. I'm gonna handle this, man. After you get in the word and they decide, well, I'm gonna go and do what I do, then guess what? That's when they committed a sin, man. This is verse 8. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Let's get Deuteronomy 9 and 24. All right. See, Israel always been treacherous, man. Okay. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 24. It reads, ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you. See? Since the day he knew you, man, you've been rebellious, man. Israel always been rebellious, man. Okay? Straight up. Some thinking they're not. Some thinking they is. Some are. Some ain't. But the bottom line, the Lord said it. Okay? The scriptures is what true. You know what I'm saying? Every man is a liar if they say they're not, man. Israel always been rebellious, man. All right? So even the rulers got to understand this, man. Okay? Know what you're signing up for. Okay? Who can have compassion on the ignorant, man? All right? A man that's trying to get his own infirmities straightened, man. A man that's acknowledging the fact he once was like that before, man. All right? Not somebody that's always thinking he's been whole, man. It's what Paul had to check a lot of people for, man. He said, I want you to be ignorant, brother. Don't forget you was going into these idols at one point in time. Come on now, have some compassion. Have some compassion on these people, man. All right? See? Israel just ungrateful, man. Very ungrateful. They tripping about the rulers, man. Give me Luke. We're going to get 20 and 14. But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. See, that's all. Israel always wanted the inheritance to be theirs, man. Okay? The same thing with Joseph. They were jealous of Joseph, man. They always had this covetous spirit, man. All right? They always had this spirit on them, man. Even with Joseph, man. They wanted to kill him, man. Okay? Let's read that again. 14. But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. See that? All right? Because we understand that even though the Levites was the heir, Samuel, their father, he a Levite, for crying out loud, man. So his sons, it was their rightful place for them to be judging Israel, man. All right? But they look at them like, because they was childish, immature, doing things what, sinners do. All right? That gave them a reason to dethrone them and get the inheritance and give it to the king, man. All right? We're going to get Galatians 4 and 1. It reads, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, all right? A child just means immature. Paul said when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. See, meaning when he got mature. How you know that these judges wasn't going to become mature? How you know they wasn't going to stop doing things like this, man? All right, Israel never was merciful. They never showed any mercy. When the Lord showed us mercy and brought us out of Egypt, man. All these times we went off the idols and stuff right there and went into captivity. He still brought us out of captivity. All right? They wouldn't show these sons of Samuel, for crying out loud, man. At least have enough, for Samuel, their father, for what he done. All right? To say, well, you know what? They just going through their phases or whatever. They still young and blah, blah, blah. No, they seen this as an opportunity to slay them. The wicked watcheth the righteous, man, seeketh to slay him, man. That's all. They was waiting on it, man. All right? Okay, and they got it. And they slayed him, man. Took them from their rightfully position that God gave them. And you know what? The Lord said, give it to him. Just like if a brother sue you at your cloak, man, just give it to him, man. Even though we know they're in the wrong, just give it to him, man. Because the Most High is he's about making peace, man. But the Lord is going to get judgment, though. The judgment is going to be him to get the recompense, man. Vengeance is the Lord's, man. I'm telling you. You're going to be wishing that brother got revenge rather than the Lord when he get done. Okay, I'm telling you, man. All right? It reads, this is Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, man. Though he be Lord of all, man. All right? So it say differ nothing from a servant. A servant, just like the other nations, man. They are servants, man. Okay? That's their job, to serve us, man. Okay, but the thing is, if he's still in a child state of mind, he no different from Esau. He no different from Moab. He no different from Ammon. He no different from the Philistines, man, or Ham. All right, he no different from these people, man. He out here celebrating Christmas. He no different. He's not going to profit us. He's keeping Thanksgiving and all this stuff, man. He's not going to profit us, man. He's still immature. He's still our enemy, man. All right, he ain't keeping the commandments. They still a child. Guess what? They wasn't keeping the commandments, so that just showed that they was still a child. And they was judging them. Let's read it again. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is the child, right, different nothing from a servant, man. He no different from the other nations, man. The servant, who was our servants, man. All right, and we already know who the heir is. We don't got to go into this. We drop down to verse 26. We can see it started to talk about Hagar and Ishmael. We know that Isaac was the heir, and his seed. Guess what? Those was the rightful. That's what the promise was, man. So we know Ishmael was what? A servant, man. All right, it was prophesied that they would serve us, man. Okay, come on, we ain't finna go through this. It says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, different nothing from a servant. Meaning he different nothing from Ishmael, man. Which was a wild man. The scripture say he was a wild man, man. His hand gonna be around the throat of all his enemies. You see what I'm saying? He gonna dwell in the presence of all his brothers. Just like our people, when they go out sinning, God scattered them amongst all their brothers, man. Against within all the heathens, all the nations, man. All right, you ain't gonna know different from him. You out here like wild people, killing one another, stealing from one another, committing all type of adulteries, lying. You know different from them, man. All right, but we want to try to get the beam out somebody's eye when we got the beam in our own eye, man. That's why everybody fall in the ditch. So, you should not live by chewing bread alone, but after every word that proceedeth out of God's mouth. It's the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profit nothing. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Ezekiel, can these bones live? That's my question. Only God knows, son of man, if they really can. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little fold in the hand. So shall the poverty come as one that travaileth, and thou shalt what? As an old man, the bread of the seat, sweet to a man, but after his mouth shall be filled with gravel. Like the whole earth was one language before the Tower of Babel. Let Christianity tell it. Eve ate an apple, lying lips, God love everybody, said the pastor, but no one could serve two masters, or else he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold the one and despise the other. Cause you cannot serve God and the devil, who name, oh Lord, endure forever. Because we are his peculiar treasures, meaning this war on no oppressor. So Esau
Get ready for Yuffna when we bring your kingdom down like you did Solomon's temple. For the testimonies are sure turning wise to simple. So I pray these women become wise and our strippers. And I pray you brothers stop abusing our sisters. And I pray my God bring down this old system. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Ezekiel, can these bones live? That's my question. Only God knows, son of man, if they really can. Yeah, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little fold in the hand. So shall the poverty come as one that travaileth, and thou shalt what? As a normal man, the bread of the seat is sweet to a man, but after his mouth shall be filled with crap. Consider that when I labor, that it's not for myself, but for all those who are in need of my help. I can walk on water while you holding your breath. Aside the minstrel singer, the angel of death, with an east wind, God scattered Israel, heaven to hell. You can choose for yourself when that brother who hates you give you a shell for not knowing love thy neighbor as thyself. Seek another man's wealth and not your own. Something I didn't know when I was busting the chrome. He taking the wise in his own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carry headlong. So keep the peace by saying shalom, or rest in peace, or prophesy to these bones. So keep the peace by saying shalom, or rest in peace, or prophesy to these bones. And behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Ezekiel, can these bones live? That's my question. Only God knows, son of man, if they really can. Yeah, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little fold in the hand. So shall the poverty come as one that travaileth, and thou shalt what? As a normal man, the bread of the seat is sweet to a man, but after his mouth shall be filled with crap. Abanawa, Shabash, Shamayam, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakawata, Taba'a, Rataza, Aka, Hayah, Asha'a, Ba'a, Rataza. Ezekiel, can these bones live? That's my question. Ezekiel, can these bones live? That's my question. Only God knows, son of man, if they really, only God knows, son of man, if they really, can these bones live? Can these bones live? Only God knows, son of man, if they really can. Only God knows, son of man, if they really can. Yeah, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little fold in the hand.